When it comes to sprinting, most casual fans really only pay attention to the athletes who happen to be in first place, and even that is putting it mildly, because they want to see you all the way out in front, running times that nobody else in the world can run. And after completing a weekend where high school athletes put down some of the fastest times that we've ever seen on the board, for that matter, this entire season has been like that. Some news that is incredibly challenging and, I'll be honest, just not fun to talk about has come out. So, by now you've probably heard that the Athletics Integrity Committee and everything that comes around performance enhancing, well, you know what I'm trying to say, they did suspend, provisionally, a man named Gerald Phiri. And the reason why it matters is because he is the head coach, like director of the program, for a program called Montverde Academy, which is the same program where Issam Asinga used to run. Before I go any further, I'm going to get all the way out in front of this. I don't like talking about this topic, but in the sport of track and field, it is inevitable. Generally speaking, I try to avoid it at every chance that I get because I just don't want to call attention to it. But when you consider that I am the guy who does high school national recruit rankings, and this is a story that is related to high school track and field, I think it is important because everybody else on the internet is starting to talk about it. I mean, Total Running Productions put out a video, so if you want more details about the actual situation, I highly recommend that you go and watch that video. I believe it was pretty well done, and he gets into the details if that's what you want. I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on what it all means. But we do have to talk about it because this is not just an issue for right now. It has been an issue, probably like the biggest dark cloud over the sport of track and field that we've had for the better part of the last 2 to 3 decades now. And going forward, I want to see it change. Don't really know if it will. And for that reason, in this specific video, I don't plan on using much of any coverage footage because I don't want to even slightly pretend that I'm implicating somebody by using their face. So unless it's very ironclad who I'm talking about and why, I'm not planning on putting them in the video at all. So let's get into it. I already brought up Issam Asinga, so let's go there. Issam Asinga is, I think it's definitive, the best sprinting recruit that we'd ever seen at the high school level in America. He competes for Suriname, but ultimately, that's just what he was. Because when you break the 9.9 second barrier, which nobody else has done, I mean, he was fast in 100 and the 200, but do I have to say anything else? He broke 9.9 as a high school sprinter. So yes, he was not just the best sprinter, like, if you were a college coach and you knew he was gonna go to college, which he didn't have to, you would want him on your team. But we didn't get to see him run at the Worlds because it would have made sense for him to do it. Matter of fact, let me even go there. In 2023, in the World Championships, he was supposed to be there because that was the same season where Noah Lyles won the World Championship in the 100. Issam Asinga ran against him in a one-off meet in Florida and beat him. I said, and beat the eventual world champion in the 100-meter dash. Hey, it is what it is. His talent was undeniable. And Issam Asinga was coached by Gerald Phiri. I'm going to get to Gerald Phiri in a moment. I don't have to go over the facts. You know that Issam Asinga's not running. He was suspended. And that suspension is supposed to last for 4 years. So he's in the middle of it now. And it's not going to end next year either. Like, he's not going to be on the track. He has maintained that he is innocent. He's maintained that. And I'm pretty sure, from everything I can track down, he claimed and even attempted to sue Gatorade to say that products they gave him were the reason why he tested positive. So now I'll bring up Gerald Phiri, because Issam Asinga competed for Montverde Academy, where Gerald Phiri was the coach. And Gerald Phiri was found to have a performance-enhancing, again, you know what I'm trying to say, he had a substance on him, and that's why he was suspended. He was in possession of it, and it's a substance that is known to be used by athletes who are trying to enhance their performance. It's a substance that I believe he was suspended for using in his career. That's not good. And multiple athletes whom he coached, including Issam Asinga, were tested positive for said substance. So what do you think is more plausible? You think it's more plausible that Gatorade did something and tainted a product that would trigger a positive test? Or is it more plausible that, with all the facts I just lined up, somebody did something that they weren't supposed to do. I'm not here to talk about the athletes. And Issam Asinga is just the headliner. I'm not even going to bring up any other names. I'm not even going to go down that path. I'm sure you can sleuth, you can Google it, you can try to figure it out if you want to. The larger conversation is not what happened. That's not the larger conversation. The real conversation is why did it happen? And I'm going to start with Gerald Phiri. Gerald Phiri himself, that's a name that I remember because when I was first getting into track and field, I'm going to give you 100% like the story as I know it. For myself, he was in college a few years before I was, and I went to the low D1 level, but he ran for Texas A&M. This is back when Texas A&M was ripping off a whole bunch of national titles. And he won the Big 12 championship. I believe he did it as a freshman. Hey, somebody can fact check me, but I'm doing this off of memory. And I remember looking up to and like seeing Gerald Phiri, like seeing him in the front of the races because I'm starting to follow the sport. So like he's a name that I remember. And I learned that he became an Olympian. Not for Team USA, I believe it's for Zambia, but regardless, he was an Olympian. And you didn't really hear a whole lot about him over the past, like during his pro career. Because again, like I said in the earlier part of the video, we tend to focus on the people who are all the way out in front, like all the way out in front. That wasn't Gerald Phiri at the pro level. But that is actually a large part of it. Because when it comes to track and field, we tend to only focus on the athletes who are in the front of the race. When it comes to why somebody would do anything that would compromise them in order to quote unquote get to the front, it's because that's how you get paid as a pro. It's because that is, fundamentally speaking, what people notice. They see not just did you win, but they look at the clock as well. We are living in a current era. It's the post-Usain Bolt era, where remember this is a fact. Nobody since he left has ever run faster than 9.76 seconds on the clock. And in the pre-Usain Bolt era, the people who were getting suspended, because a lot of people got suspended who were running incredibly fast times, the number that was always coming back when they were getting suspended was almost always 9.7 something. Maybe 9.8 low, but almost always 9.7 something. But if you're new here, I want to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, the founder of SCArecruiting.com, where I rank the best track and field recruits across the entire nation. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section because I try to read them all. In today's generation, athletes are faster now. Not faster than Bolt, like not faster than the top, but the field has gotten faster. There are a lot of reasons why. But when I bring this up and we start thinking about high school athletes, again, I'm not going to speculate about any individual athletes, what they did know, what they didn't know. None of that is where I'm headed with this. What matters is why are we even having this discussion? Because track and field right now is in a very fractured state where most of the races that we run are just warm-ups. They're just scrimmages. They don't really mean anything. In college track and field right now, most of the meets are unscored. Like regular season meets don't have a score. It doesn't matter. You just go out there and you run seed time till you get to your conference meet. And the conference meet matters because you compete for a trophy, but other than that, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It's just for the trophy. Because when you go to regionals and nationals, it's a different structure. And that's again, run fast times again. Technically speaking, if you're an amateur athlete, quote unquote amateur athlete, all you gotta do is run a fast time and then show up when you need to run fast in a championship level event. We are watching high school athletes run times that we've really never seen before. This just is what it is. We're watching them run amazingly fast times. That's on the men's side and on the women's side. There were a lot of reasons. Right now, I think some of it is better training, better coaching, athletes are starting younger. Because I follow the high school national rankings and what's going on at that level, I'll tell you, most of the high school kids who are dominating, what they are actually doing is, these are little pros. That's what they are. They're not doing what we used to do 15, 20 years ago. This is a different era. You have kids who are all in on track. They're doing it year round. They have high level training access. Again, this technology now that didn't even exist back then. They're traveling to different events. Like they'll go to major national events like a New Balance, then they'll go to a Nike, then they'll go to a Brooks PR, they'll go to a USA Juniors. They may go to a mixture of these things. Like high school track isn't high school track anymore. If you want to be a high-level 4-star, 5-star recruit, in all likelihood, you ain't just going to run in your state anymore. It's probably not what you're going to do. The kids on my list who make it that high, not all the time, but most of the time, they are doing a lot of the extra stuff, which means they're doing extra work. And when you bring in professional structure around high school track, and then you bring in professional expectations around the times people are going to put out, because we're watching people go faster and faster and faster. What else is going to go with it? The same thing that came with the professional level. The pressure to succeed and put these times on the board. I'm not saying that nobody can run without, quote unquote, being on something and go fast. That's not what I'm saying. And when I say fast, you know exactly what I mean by fast. I don't mean 10.1 fast. I know what I mean 10.2 fast. We mean like fast. Like the fast that we've come accustomed to. The type of fast that Bolt put on the board. Like, if you're going to do that, it's insanely hard to pull off. And because the opportunities in the sport are like you can kind of be on the fault line. The same way that like when it comes to scholarships right now. In D1, the reason it's so hard to get one is because a lot of people don't realize most D1 schools don't give them out. Many D1 programs don't give out full rides. Some of them do, many of them don't. Some even in the top conferences don't give out a whole lot of them. Like they don't use the full allotment of what they're able to give. So there's a fault line of talent where you can get into D1, be effective, even win conference championships, just being real. But you're not a scholarship athlete because you're not at that level yet. It just is what it is. So if you want to get to that level, it's like, there's the line. It's like either you're a game breaker or you're not. If you're a game breaker, then now you're eligible to get some of these benefits, to get scholarships. Maybe we can talk about NIL or whatever it is. If you're not a game breaker, you fall below the waterline. You can still get into D1. You can still run. You can have fun. You can compete. You can compete compete for conferences, all that. But when it comes to nationals, forget about all that. Like, you don't have that. That's not going to be your reality in all likelihood. Every once in a while, there's a kid from that level who really shows up, and I try to look out for them and highlight those stories here on this platform. If all of that is true, then the pro level or the elite level, the level that gets you sponsorship dollars and the real NIL deals, not like the low level ones that like, they give you a few dollars to like post something online. I mean like real NIL with like companies that would pay you to wear athletic gear. The people who are going to get that are the ones above the waterline again. You just move the bar up where either you do like game-breaking things, like the type of things that light up the boards, incredibly fast times, like high school national record type performances. And these records is getting real close to what the pros are doing. Again, I don't want to implicate anybody or say anything specific about any athlete or any coach or any system. But if you bring all that energy and you bring it to high school athletes, what do you think is going to happen? As far as I'm concerned, I don't really have a horse in the race when it comes to any individuals or even any specific programs. That's not what I care about. I just want what's best for track and field. I want what's best for the sport at every single level. At the high school level, at the college level, and even at the pro level. Again, what's best, not what's best for any one person. I do believe what's best is the more we lean into competition, like winning, competition, competing specifically in a team framework, the healthier it gets for everybody, the more sense it makes for fans if you do it right. But that's not what we're doing. It's more or less right now, we run a bunch of warm-up meets or a bunch of scrimmages that don't mean anything other than the times. So people just look at the clock and look for something incredibly fast. And when they finally get it, they get excited. Because now that scrimmage that we just watched with that incredibly fast performance, because that's really all we came for, don't care about anybody else in these races, anybody else in these other heats. Whoever put that fast time on the boards, that's what we focus on. We didn't wait around to see if they're going to do it in the one race that actually matters, which is going to be some type of championship, normally the Worlds if you're doing it at the pro level. And apparently, anybody can run at the Olympics or the Worlds. You don't have to be a pro athlete, quote unquote. So hey, I'm not speculating. I don't want to speculate. But this is the problem. And when you get to a point where you have minors, because apparently it wasn't just one athlete. We know there are, at the very least, the reports are 3 athletes who were coached by Gerald Phiri, tested positive for this substance, the substance that he had in his possession, a substance that he had in a prior period in his life, like had been also addressed and been, I guess suspended or what have you for that substance in the past. Like, if we put the pieces together, people are putting pressure on athletes to do things that they probably shouldn't do. It just is what it is. To be honest, I actually don't know where we go from here. But I do know the only way we're going to get to a better place is if we do it as a track and field community. Because this individualized approach is what got us here. And as far as I understand it, nothing yet has changed. We're in the eyes of a casual track fan. Remember, I said that part, casual fan. If you're not in first place, then you might as well be in last. And that's that. In the sport of track and field, race day is honestly the easy part, because all of the real work gets put in when nobody is watching. When you wear every day is training day gear, you can let the whole world know that your success in competition is not an accident. Order yours at scarecruiting.com/shop or use the link in the description below, and it always comes with free shipping. It's a huge support to me and this channel, so I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.